What's good, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the UK podcast, right here on Copperos.
With support from 8 Phones.
Yeah.
I hate when you do those random laughs. He has such a villain laugh. Guys, leave your comments in the comment section. What do you think about John's laugh?
I've been told that I have a villainous laugh.
Yeah, I think it would actually suit. You know, have you ever tried doing like a voiceover for that?
We should be talking to you. You should give him the voiceover as a villain.
Actually, we'll talk after this.
Yes. We need to introduce ourselves. My name is Esther Mlenga. You already know he's George Samo Piri. But today on the podcast, we have the one and only. Do you know me? Do you know who I am? International award-winning poet.
That's right. Look at me. I'm the captain. This is joined by award-winning poet and writer. I was about to say Esther Mlenga. I remember that is Msenga Tato.
You know,
I prophesy in your future.
Honestly speaking, she does sound like she can be an award-winning poet as well. So I wouldn't be surprised, but it's fine.
You need to take her for some lessons.
No, I will come for lessons.
No problem.
CV award-winning poet.
That's not word. Why you feel your child? You know what I mean? I'm a wolf.
You guys are crazy.
You know what I mean? I'm a big bad wolf. Wow.
Okay. Seriously, today our topic is not about transitioning into adulthood because life in, let's be honest, sometimes you wish like you wanted to remain 10 forever. But you have to transition into adulthood. So we're going to talk about the self-care practices to prepare us youths for the transition to adulthood.
That's right.
And of course, we have Musenga Katongo right here. Like I said, our winning writer poet. What?
You know what I wish? Like, William Tale is our editor, by the way. If when he said, we're talking about transitioning to adulthood, then he plays like a song. Adulthood na scam. You know what I mean, eh?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But anyway, I'd like to believe we've all somehow transitioned to adulthood. We're no longer 10, 9. I wish I was, by the way.
But still look it anyway.
It looks
and
what I am.
It means you look young. That's what he's trying to say.
It's a compliment, but I am not.
It's a long story.
Oh, wow.
It's a very long story.
I am not, but it's fine. But also, I just want to ask you, from your perspective as well, what are some of the challenges that youths face, especially when it comes to transitioning to adulthood? Because me, I feel like I'm still facing these challenges.
Okay, cool. And I think one of the challenges is just there's no roadmap. There's no step-by-step guide. No, you should do this at this stage, you should do this at that stage. So I feel like there's no roadmap for transitioning into adulthood. I also feel like there can be a lack of guidance for some young people. They might not necessarily have the structures or the people around them who can be able to just give them some form of advice. So transitioning from being a kid and then getting into adulthood can seem like a very confusing phase. Especially when you have expectations as a kid. As a kid, you're just thinking of, when I grow up, I can stay up late. Now as an adult, you want to sleep early.
When I grow up, I'm going to have a car.
You know what I mean?
It takes money to buy a car.
When you even have those goals.
I'm not crying.
No, you're not.
I am not crying.
By the time I turn 21, I should have a car. I should have a
house.
well-paying job. I should have a house.
Well-paying job. Airports around it.
Moment of silence for those dreams.
Let's have a moment of silence.
For those dreams. Carry on.
Very short-lived, but long enough.
Yeah.
Just like our childhood.
Just like
that. But so I feel like we have those expectations which are not necessarily met. And I think because you get dunked into the real world and then now you start even understanding why certain adults were making certain decisions when you were a kid. When you start understanding, so that's why they told us to sleep early. Or that's why they told us that, you should play with the right people or the right friends.
That's why they told us to eat our vegetables.
You know what I mean? So there's all that stuff that goes into it. So I feel like the challenge mainly is the lack of a roadmap. There's the lack of guidance. and the expectations that you might have from what we've seen from other people.
Now, we specifically brought Msenga here today because I feel like we've watched Msenga grow.
Hey, serious?
I think I've known Msenga even way before like color culture, before it became a thing. When did color culture, like, when did you officially start it?
2019.
Yeah, that was way before then. I think I've known him like since 2017 or something like that. And I feel like Msenga's life has been like a Disney show.
Oh, is he like Hannah Montana?
Yes, like we've watched him grow, and now he's like a whole wrecking.
Or is he like China?
You see?
I'm not wrecking.
You came like a wrecking ball.
Okay.
I would have blessed you with my singing voice, but not on this episode. Maybe another one.
You are the poet. Let's stick to that.
And I want to start off from there. Somewhere 2017 or 2016 when I met you, you were just a young man with dreams of performing poetry on the international stage. And a few years later, you're opening color culture, you're winning awards, and so on and so forth. You had transitioned from a child to start having like a bunch of responsibilities and experiencing the independence of childhood. And I want to get your story on how you prepared yourself for that transition from just at one point to the other, and now every week you're just swimming in dollars. You know what I mean, just check out Msenga's page. He's swimming in dollars.
Is there another page? I think someone's impersonating me.
If you say so.
Yeah, sure. But otherwise, my story. I think one of the key things, and I always love to talk about it, is mentorship. That lack of guidance I talked about in the first question, I think can be sorted through the right mentorship. Seeking guidance from people who've gone ahead of you, not only in life, but in the particular field you have, where when you have a particular goal, you know that for me to achieve this goal, I need to talk to people who've either achieved it or have come close to it, you know what I mean? And they can tell you what they did when they were younger, or they can tell you what not to do because maybe they made some mistakes. So it's sort of like you get a cheat code to be like, if I was on my own, I would have made the exact same mistakes. But because I get to listen to this person's story, I get to skip those mistakes. So for me, mentorship was a really big part of it. 2017, I was being mentored by Steve Mwale, still mentored by him up to now. And then just
through the boss of regions.
Yes, exactly. So I got to discuss with him different things. He would tell me different life lessons, different business lessons and everything. So that kind of prepared me mentally even to start color culture. So I had my expectations managed because, without that, without those kinds of lessons, you might find yourself being in a position where you have all these expectations of what you're doing. So I feel like mentorship was a big part of that. So through that mentorship, I was able to have the mindset that could actually be able to transition into those activities, and even the principles that would guide me towards, you say, winning these awards, doing these different activities, and even expanding your vision. Because for me, all I really wanted was to have a book launch the first time I met him. Sir, I want a book launch. I want it to look like this. I want it to have these lights. And then as we had conversations, I learned there's way more to life than a book launch. And at that time, I was a kid. You know what I mean? That's how I'm thinking. Once I have this book launch,
flashing lights.
I'm done. Like, I've made it. But it's like, no, there's so much that you can actually achieve, and there's so much potential. And when you have someone who's able to unpack that from you without bossing you around, like you should be like this and like this, they're literally just working with your dreams and your aspirations and giving you guidance, then I think that's how you're able to really transition quite well.
You've spoken highly of mentorship, right?
Yes.
But I also want to ask what role parents, educators, siblings even play as well into this transition, because you are saying not somebody just bossing telling you are supposed to go to school this time and come back. Which role do they play then when it comes to transitioning?
I think parents play a very key role, especially in obviously nurturing you as a child. But then there's also that aspect of trusting you as an adult. You know what I mean? Knowing that I'm not a parent, but from what I can express, I can just say that.
George, do you know something we don't?
Listen,
do you know something I don't?
You don't lead in a conversation like when you're saying, well, I'm not a parent, and then you're like,
wow.
What's up?
Okay, mister, I'm not a parent. Continue with
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. But nonetheless, all I'm saying is that I think parents should be able to trust their child in terms of them being able to find their feet and find their ground and also find their passion. So I think the role that parents play is more or less creating the environment in which their child can be able to thrive and can be able to, experience different things and make an informed decision about what they want in life. Same with educators, being able to be a guide. Because ultimately, I think the transition from childhood to adulthood really just involves a lot of guidance and a lot of respect for that guidance. Because, as young people, we can think, I know everything. I've watched Andrew Tate enough times for me to know what exactly I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean?
On Andrew Tate.
Yes,
I was even about to say, I don't think that's a good role model, but okay.
Yeah, but that's just an
my
example.
opinion.
I got you.
Senga,
Yeah.
apart from money,
Okay.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Okay.
Cook my G. Cook.
Money aside,
that what can make you happy?
What can
The
we-
money you put aside, sir.
The one that's aside.
Yeah. Apart from money, what are some of the essential life skills that you need or one should develop as they are transitioning into adulthood? And that is from your story, apart from the mentorship and the money that we're talking about.
I think it's managing your time, managing your energy, and managing your money. So I feel when you have these three on lock, you're able to
Managing time,
energy and
money.
You'll be able to unlock almost everything else. Because if we're talking about things to do as an adult, you have your basic cleanliness, your basic hygiene, your basic organization skills, where it's like, look, if you put something in one place, are you able to put it back? It's those little things, you know what I mean? But really, it's also just being able to manage your time and being able to understand the importance of how managing your time actually impacts others and how it can affect other people, even with your energy. Being able to also be honest about things to do with your energy, like, okay, this is what I'm capable of doing, this is what I'm not capable of doing. Just having that aspect of understanding this is how you can distribute those particular resources. Because money, you can lose it, you can get it back, but time and energy are something that you really have to be able to protect as best as you can. That's
Now,
what I think.
I want to hear about some of your losses because we've celebrated Msenga Katongo as Msenga Katongo, the award-winning poet.
You're not saying it right. International.
No, wait.
International
Wait,
there.
I'm saying award-winning poet.
Uh-huh.
Then I wanted to go to multi award-winning poet. Then I wanted to go to international award-winning.
No, just narrow it down. Just say international.
award-winning
Yes.
poet. Eh?
Cool.
Now multi-international award-winning poet.
Multi-international.
We've celebrated your wins and so on and so forth, but some of your losses, because as an adult, you've talked about managing your time, your energy, your money, but managing losses.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the losses that you've had and how they've impacted your mental health. And also, I don't want to get the lessons. I just want to know about the losses.
Okay,
You get
cool.
what I mean?
Why are you curious about your friends' losses?
I mean, we did color culture. We paid 50
I
pence.
quite
Oh,
against
wow.
We only sold 2 tickets on the actual day.
Well, I think my losses, I always like to refer to this one experience I had, like just obviously one of many. When we had the color culture show, the second color culture show that we ever had, Afronauts.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that show was a disaster.
I thought it was good.
Oh yeah. Were you there?
No, I was there
That's why
in
you
your DM.
That's why you thought it was good.
I was there in your
You see,
DM.
that's how you do marketing. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna try guys. The flyer, the captions.
Exactly. We even were very clever with the marketing. The actual show was a lesson to me. I know you do want the lessons, but I was the one who knew everything about that event. No one else. Yes,
What
the
do you
ushers
mean?
are there. Yes, the MC is there, but they didn't know anything. I'm the one who knew everything.
What do you
And
mean?
I didn't tell them. I didn't communicate.
Then you had a problem.
And that's my loss.
So that's something that you learned, and then
Exactly.
going forward, you've managed to delegate responsibilities.
Exactly. So for me,
Interesting.
that particular experience really did get to me like, ish, do I really want to do this again? Is it something that I'm capable of? Whereby it even impacted how I perceived myself in terms of my capability of doing shows. But then again, mentorship, being able to have someone I trust to talk to. Well, like, look, these things happen. You know what I mean? You pick yourself up, you get back, and then you try again. You know what I mean? So that's, I guess, one of the experiences that I really always look back on, where I'm like, I tried my best to do this, but then it didn't really work out. And even when you have these different activities and these different events, there are so many times when you don't make profit. You know what I mean? You don't get to see the money come back. If it's profit, maybe it's a 20 kwacha, for example.
That's transport.
You know what I mean? But then at the end of the day, you just kind of look at it and take it in stride. Like, look, it's part of the journey, it's part of the process, and you learn from it.
Interesting. Bring you back again to this conversation. I want to know what role self-care can help or plays when transitioning to adulthood. Because, like you said, you said 3 very important things that you need to learn how to manage: time, energy, and money. Right. So now, self-care, you're always trying to make more money.
True.
Always trying to see how best you can get more time. So, in this aspect, then, where does self-care come in?
Self-care comes throughout the process, if you ask me. I think one thing that I even, when I think about this whole thing, there's the aspect that for you to be able to care for yourself, you need to be aware of yourself. You need to have self-awareness. Self-awareness goes with, self-care goes with self-awareness. Self-awareness can't also be on its own. It needs to go with self-compassion.
Yeah.
Because as you're caring for yourself, you have that understanding that, you need to rest, you need to do things that will be helpful for yourself. But then you also need to be gentle and friendly towards yourself. And that's where self-compassion comes in, because it's very easy, especially as young people who are constantly seeing what Sammy is there on TV. Oh, he's doing amazing. No, Esther is also on TV doing great things. You know what I mean? What am I doing with my life? You know what I mean? You even have those kinds of crises. But then you're aware that you're maybe not doing something similar to Sammy or Esther. But in that awareness, you also need to be compassionate with yourself, where you say, look, yes, I'm not doing what Sammy and Esther are doing. What am I doing right now that is worthy of that praise? Because it's very easy for us to look at the things that we've accomplished just because, you guys are in media. Everything you do will be seen. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately.
Exactly. But then there's that guy who's probably working in a bank, thinks his job is boring, but he's actually doing it very well. Customers are happy.
He doesn't make any losses.
You know what I mean?
He doesn't only know about the event alone.
Wow.
We listen. We don't judge.
Don't judge.
But I feel judged. Anyway.
I apologize for judging.
Yeah, but then there's that dude who's probably working like that. There's probably a cashier somewhere who's also doing those things. But then just because they can't take a selfie at the cashier and at that till and say, oh, I just, did so and so, they might feel less. But then they might feel less of themselves. But then I think it's just important for you to be aware of where you are. And in that awareness, you also care for yourself so that you can be able to show up. You know what I mean? Pretty much.
Which brings me to the next question. I'm sorry.
No, it's a podcast. We
I want to know then, because here we want to learn from people who are having conversations.
I got you.
So, can you share? Yes, please share a personal experience where we've spoken highly of self-care, and I appreciate that. So can you share a personal experience where you even know that, okay, here, if it wasn't for self-care, I would have gone mad. You know what I mean?
The problem is, there are certain stories which you don't really keep with it. You're just like, look, I did it. Let's move on.
We're moving them back.
You know what I mean? So I think for me, it's more of a daily thing. So I'll give an example of my recent experience, especially with work, right? Sometimes I ask a lot of young people, like, especially those who are happening, so to speak, like, what do you do Monday to Friday? You know what I mean? Like, do you have a job? Do you work? And for me, I do work from 8 to 5. I work in advertising. So it's more like a Batman thing, by the day, advertising, by night, I'm out here doing poetry, because I'm Batman. So, yeah, like...
I thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
No problem, let me just... So pretty much, in that whole thing, you find that there are days where you just feel like, what am I doing with my life? You know what I mean? Like, this is not what I wanted, per se. This is not what I wanted to be doing. I wanted to be, sharing stages with amazing poets across the world and stuff on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. But then that's not the reality that I live in. So now, instead of me looking at that and say, like, look, I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve, I have to just come back and tell myself, like, look, this is where I get to now be self-aware. This is where I get to now look at my current situation and just say, look, I should be grateful for where I am. I should be happy with where I am. And since you wanted to hear about losses, one of the...
Just remember another loss.
One of the major things that I consider a failure on my part is that when I was in 4th year of university, or rather, I started color culture when I was in 2nd year of university. The goal was for it to employ me when I'm done with school. It's like, oh, I'm not going to be job hunting anything. Well, the fact that I work 8 to 5 should tell you how well it went.
Oh,
it went really well.
You're doing great.
Oh, wow.
You are doing so great.
Yeah, so now for me, every time it comes to mind, like, look, this is something that you've been building for all these years, and it hasn't gotten to that point where you can literally say, this is your source of income, this is what, and everything. But then you kind of just, again, look at where you're at and say, I have this, I have this, I have this. Am I going to talk about what I failed to achieve, or am I going to make do with what I have managed to accomplish?
And
so, yeah.
On that, you are creative.
Yes.
Creatives are well known around the world for having bad sleeping habits. You know, like a really bad sleep schedule.
Oh, there's a bird.
I think the bird is the one
You've
that
seen the bird, right?
It didn't sleep well.
Yeah, I think it didn't
The way it's
sleep.
flying is not...
Yeah.
It's tired.
Needed some
So it
rest.
should
Well,
rest.
there are two other birds in
I
the
think that
studio
bird should come listen to what
right
I'm
now.
saying.
Msenga, you spoke about, I think this was off record. You said you slept at 5. You slept at 5.
Exactly, we talked about that.
Right off the record. Why are you just embarrassing?
Listen, it's
Wow!
we are talking about
again.
as an adult, you need to be truthful.
You have problems.
Listen,
I'm
you
never
slept
talking
at
to you again.
5. I'm, saying
Block his
I'm your biggest supporter.
Block his number.
You slept at 5.
Yes, sir.
You woke up at 8, and you are on your way to come and do this interview.
Yes, sir.
Why do you treat yourself badly?
You know the producer there is like...
Guy out. Let's
Let me just cut for a second.
cut the cameras. Cut
If
the
he comes back
cameras.
with a swollen eye, like, guys, we're back.
Okay, let me ask you. According to the script, what role does sleep and maintaining healthy sleep habits play during this time?
So the role that sleep plays in this time. You see, the role is very important. Sleep. In fact, you should have 7 hours of sleep.
7 hours.
7 to 9 hours. Of sleep.
Yeah.
And it's good for brain function.
And the body.
It's good for the body. It's very healthy. But quite frankly, I have insomnia. That's one thing that since you want to talk about losses,
Yeah.
and
You have so many. I'm laughing.
Wow!
I
Wow!
love the open. It's a safe space.
Youth care podcast.
We listen.
We don't judge. Yeah, you have insomnia.
Yes, I have insomnia, and usually it kind of just stems from thinking a lot about stuff, and everything. So
Most poets are overthinkers. Just saying. Just putting it out.
that's how we come up with
Molenga,
the
I think.
that's how we come up with the best content.
Yeah,
Right?
but like legit. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
now you're making us feel bad.
Oh wow!
It's because I relate.
So yeah, so I think. Oh wow! So I think on that particular front, it's just when different transitions come in life, when different experiences happen, and then you just have that uncertainty or uncertainty rather of how things will go. You kind of stay up at night, and then I remember when I was a kid, sometimes I'd fall to sleep. Right then, I don't know if like my mom or dad would be like, now why are you failing to sleep as if you're a big person of problems? Now I understand.
Now you're a big person failing to
Now you're a
sleep.
big person.
Yeah, but otherwise for me it was just like I think just the whole 5 to 8 thing. It's not even by choice. It's not like I'm going to do this. I'm going to stay up until 5. Nah. But
Okay, we have to go, but before we go, I want to ask you this question. You
No
spoke
stress.
highly of mentorship.
Yes, please.
Have you started giving back as well? Are you mentoring somebody or people or something like that?
So for me, I'm not mentoring someone
Give
like
back.
what.
I think. Are you safe? Do you feel safe? Blink twice if you don't feel safe. Okay. Yeah.
Kwena.
You are saying
As I was saying,
Eh.
whenever I am sought out for in terms of advice, direction, I am always available. However, I cannot force someone to come and reach out to me and get whatever I'd have to share with them. Because mentorship is supposed to be something that is sought after. Even the Bible says that you must seek wisdom as though you're seeking silver and gold.
Yeah.
So it's not like wisdom will come to you like, oh,
I
the
have
mentor has come and he has sat me down. No, you must make that effort. When it came to meeting with Steve Morley, I would go. I was in second year. I had class. I had all those things. I had to study, but I would still make time to go visit him at his house. I go sit there for maybe like 2-3 hours, then I come back. maybe a couple of, I don't even remember how many times, but I was doing that for over a year. And there was nothing that was coming out of that. There was no opportunities, there was no what. The only thing that came later, after a year of that, was when he now said, look, I've seen what you're interested in, and I've seen what kind of stuff you want to do. How can I support you? And then he helped me start up Color Culture.
Yeah.
But that didn't come from, he came to me, he followed me like Musenga.
I see Color Culture.
You know what I mean?
I see Color Culture.
So for me, it's like if someone hasn't necessarily seen that desire to approach me and then sit down with me regularly, that's not on me.
That's your 40.
No, before you
we
run
gotta
away.
go.
No, before you run away, what I'm telling you, you beat us. But I have to ask you, I'm adult now. In the words,
I don't think you're going to like this question.
Listen, do me something cool, babe.
I don't think so.
But Africa must think. Zambia said Africa must marry.
Yeah.
Because it transitioned from childhood to adulthood.
Just answer him that you're waiting
now
for him.
Kula nomba. Kula nomba.
Waiting for him.
Where is that question on this?
There's no question here.
When is the award winning? International award winning.
Where is that question? You get even me.
Me as an adult.
Wow. For me, I have my person.
Just say when the Lord says it is
I have
time.
my person, and when the time is right with my person, we will do the
Come on. And that's why we have to thank you so much for watching the Care podcast. It's brought to you by Corporos with the support from Edsport. My name is Esther Menga. These guys,
he's still looking for the question.
That is George Samofiri, and we were joined by Musenga Katoko. Thank you so much. Continue watching because another episode will be coming soon.